What I would highly recommend you do is that you find somebody like a woman who's been in the business 3, 4,
Yeah,
5, 8, 10, 20 years, whatever it is, right? Like a decent amount of time, not brand new, and you pay them on a per transaction basis.
that's exactly what I had before.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. It's one thing
yeah,
that I highly recommend everybody in your current financial position. Because right now you're kind of in between the solo and solo plus situation, like we've talked about, team wise. And I think that it's time
yeah,
for you to get yourself a transaction coordinator.
yeah,
That'd probably be the first thing I would do right away because that 2 hour time frame is not worth it. I would tell you you could have one morning call with this
yeah,
person and maybe one afternoon call for 15 minutes each. Make sure you're organized on everything, and that's it. You shouldn't be doing any of the work that you
yeah,
should be doing 100% of that work. And you pay her 500
yeah,
bucks a transaction or something like
yeah. I just need to figure out my what I do, what I don't do, and be more strict about, I don't know, the listings I take, the things I like. I was yesterday, I went and helped a guy move. It's out of the kindness of my heart, probably being too nice. I helped a guy move big boxes out of this condo that I'm listing. He's claiming his mom died. He's not in the shape to do it. Running
our
around.
team as an example, like we're trying to sell a $4.5 million multifamily deal. The guy's like 80 something years old, went to the guy's house, his TV's not working. We bought him a new TV. Like, a lot of the
Yeah,
like small little things like you just did, I can completely understand. At the same
yeah,
time, so like, to get a listing or something like that, and you're going to go that route. I mean, obviously I'd make sure that you're getting, do your best to make sure you're going to get a deal so you're not just wasting your time and
yeah,
or make sure you're doing it at like 7 o'clock or later. But as for some of these normal activities, because that's not an everyday occurrence, but it's
yeah,
like how can you be as productive as possible with the most amount of hours possible? What you
yeah,
showed me
yeah.
is fine. I would probably say that you should be prospecting from like 8 a.m. till noon at least. Your admin time should be completely cut down, so you'll actually be able to prospect till probably 2 o'clock in the afternoon on some days if you don't have an appointment slot. Your appointment slot should be like maybe a 2 or a 3 p.m. in the afternoon, a 5 or a 5:30, and like a 7 every 2.5 hours
Okay.
or so, every 2 hours or so, depending on how far you travel. Right. So like a 3, a 5, and a 7, say like, hey, I got a 5 and a 7 available. What works best for you? And they're like, you have anything earlier? Yeah, I can do 3. Right. So like you keep the entire morning and
Yeah,
earlier afternoon to just spend time prospecting and generating more opportunities. You
yeah,
hire a transaction coordinator who should take all the listing paperwork, following up with the attorneys, dealing with
yeah.
coordinating photos, signage, all that kind of stuff. They coordinate for you so you can focus mainly on just doing what actually makes you money. And
Yeah.
then what I would try to tell you is at least one day a week, call it Wednesdays, just because that's when the trainings are, right? So Wednesdays could be your commercial day. Instead of prospecting for residential, you're prospecting for commercial deals, and I would start there. And then once you start getting a good amount of business, once you get a deal closed, once you get into a position where you have like enough, in your database, we're like, hey, like I've got some serious momentum here. Ideally after a deal is closed, you can go to 2 days a week, and then you close
Yeah.
another deal, and then it goes to 3 days a week in two resi, right? And then this way you
Okay.
can slowly transition into the commercial side of the business.
Gotcha. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I think that's something I was struggling with mentally is just how to transition and
Well,
yeah.
one day a week to close a deal, 2 days a week to close the second deal, and then you stop at like 2 to 3 days a week until you actually have built out the support team on the residential side, so that you're not spending time on resi deals. Your team might be, but you personally aren't, and then you can start scaling from 2 or 3 to 4 or 5.
Okay.
In regards to increasing income, I'm telling you right now, your transaction coordinator will 100% help you do that because you're delegating time that
Yeah.
you should be then spending on more prospecting. Obviously, a lead manager and a showing assistant will help down the road. I probably would tell you that with the right transaction coordinator, your income should probably double within the next 90 days. Do not hire a lead manager or a showing assistant for at least 90 days and see how your
Yeah.
transaction coordinator is doing for you. Because if you're
How
getting
should I
the right
decide?
one, you will
How
definitely
should I decide whether I work with the buyer or refer them?
work with every buyer for right now. And in 90 days, let's say that you doubled your income. Okay, you go from making 125, 150 to let's just say you're on a trend of now doing something like 20 to 25,000 a month. Okay.
Yeah.
Now instead of doing, let's say, because you've got a little bit low of a price point like we've talked about, you're doing 2 to 3 a month right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's been
So
18 deals now. So I had two closings Wednesday.
great. So let's just say, yeah, so like let's say 3 closings a month roughly, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
3 closings a month, if you hire the right TC, you should be between 5 and 7 closings a month. That's when you know you have the right TC. If you're a
Okay.
business and you are more effective and you're closing more deals, that is one of the biggest telltale signs you've got a good TC and that you're being productive with your time that you've now been given. In order to go to the next point, right, like which is, again, now showing assist and stuff like that, what you start doing is you're delegating the cheapest stuff first. So you only start, like as an example for your, lead manager as a VA, it's pretty simple, like we've talked about on the
Okay.
trainings. But your showing assistant, you bring on a showing assistant and you pay that person on a dollar per hour basis per week. So like this is like like a really smiley, happy young woman. Most of the time would be ideal. And that person's only job is to coordinate the tours and show the properties for anything like, let's say sub, in your market, 400 grand, 300 grand. And then you take the little bit higher price point stuff.
Yeah.
Right? And then eventually you delegate 100% of tours to somebody else. Like that person could have 100% of your buyer business and you only pay them $25 per hour, right? $20, I mean, in your market, probably 20 an hour would
Yeah.
probably more than
Yeah.
suffice. You might even get away with 15 an hour. So you pay this person $15 an hour maximum, dude. Like think about it. You're closing 5 or 6 or 7. At this point, you're closing 6 deals a month or so. You're making $25,000 a month. Your overhead is only the $500 of closing. So now you're paying 3 grand a month in closing costs, for that. And you're, maybe got some tech fees for another 2 grand, maybe. So
Yeah.
you're getting $20,000 a month at this point. And now you're going to send out a showing assistant, which you might end up paying $1,000 or $2,000 a month. Which then, if you
Yeah.
hire the right showing assistant, she should be able to close one at minimum deal per month. If you got a good showing assistant, now you're at 6. Now you should be at 7 closings a month. You're paying this person $1,000. She's making you 5 or 6 or 7, depending on
Yeah.
the price point. Maybe even 2 closings a month, right? Depending on your lead flow. The point is that you should be able to get to 10 closings a month with just those 3 pieces.
Yeah.
The showing assistant, the lead manager, and a showing assistant who's good, like a hustler, a young girl hustling.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So you could get to, again, that puts you 100% of your time then is in me prospecting or listing appointments. And this is how I built my business. I was doing 100 transactions a year, and that was what my team was. Now I had way more staff, but you don't need it. I mean, that's my mistake. So literally those 3 positions should be able to get you to 8 to 10 closings a month.
So that's TC. I'm not going to go hire this
TC,
now,
lead
but
manager,
that's
showing
TC.
assistant. But you don't hire the lead
TC,
manager and the
lead
showing assistant until you have a good transaction manager who's gotten you to at least double your current production. And then, like we talked about, and in order to raise your income, you have to start prospecting markets that make sense.
Yeah.
And if it means driving an hour, 30 minutes, bro, you can't be selling $200,000 properties anymore.